What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be looking at some trade targets for the Maple Leafs. We're also going to be talking a little bit about free agency. We're inching closer and closer to the draft and free agency and all the fun stuff. It is NHL silly season. It is Maple Leaf silly season. So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe, join the squad. I'd love to have you guys here. Also, be sure to stick around for more videos because there's going to be a lot coming up. If you're not subscribed, be sure to stick around. But we're going to start off with Tavares. We're going to start with Johnny T, okay? The Leafs and Johnny T, John Tavares, have a lot of work to do. Now, basically, Pierre LeBrun and other reporters and journalists are talking, saying that wherever each side is, it wasn't close enough as of Saturday. And David Pagnotta of the fourth period reported that the Maple Leafs came in under $4 million on a contract extension, with which I know a lot of people are like, oh, you've got to change it up, you've got to switch it up, you're going to switch the DNA. If the Maple Leafs want to still be competitive, you can't just lose everybody and not have a backup plan. So if you're going to lose John Tavares, because you're already losing Marner, if you're going to lose Tavares, you better have a backup plan. And we'll get to that in this video. But I think the Leafs need Tavares on a third line basis if they can go out there and get a second line center. And the reason why I say that is because Johnny T scored 38 goals in 74 points in 75 games. And he also had 5 goals and 7 points in 13 playoff games. So if the Maple Leafs can get Tavares at like $4.5 million, whatever, how many years it is, the Leafs' competitive window is the next few years for sure. So lock him up to that deal and worry about the end of it later. The term to me doesn't even matter at this point. People need to understand this, okay? The cap is going to go up substantially anyways, and a contract like this, under $5 million, nobody's going to even notice it. But the Leafs window is a little bit smaller than people think. I think the Leafs have like 3 or 4 years left with the blue line that they have that's aging, and you know, the team that potentially could change drastically. If you need to get guys locked up now, do it now and worry about the rest later. So if the Leafs came in at under $4 million, John Tavares is likely going to be leaving this team. I can't see how, you know, scoring 38 goals would get you $3.5 million or $4 million. I think the Leafs need to at least be at 4.5. I think that that's fair. He probably gets, people are saying in the open market, he could get $7 million a year for 3-4 years. It's very possible, and I get where people are coming from, but I think the Leafs need to be treating it a little bit safer and try to hold on to him at a reasonable number. I don't think I'd go higher than 4.5, though, to be completely honest. Even though he is worth more, I don't think at this point I would go higher. Now, the next piece of news is news that people probably won't be happy to hear about, and that is Brad Marshan, okay? Elliot Friedman reporting, I think you've got to give him a reason to leave Florida. Now, okay, that sounds like, okay, yeah, sure, you definitely have to give him reasons. That's what free agency is. But by all reports, it seems like Aaron Ekblad is likely going to be the odd man out in Florida, and that Florida is going to be trying to keep at least 2 out of 3, which would leave Bennett and Marshan. I think Marshan wants to stick around. I think Bennett wants to stick around. And I think the Panthers getting Seth Jones was obviously their backup plan because they knew that they were likely going to be losing Aaron Ekblad, and maybe they don't want to re-sign him. So, again, it looks like Brad Marshan and Bennett more than likely are going to be sticking with Florida. So Marshan especially might be a guy that the Leafs don't really have in their plans right now, because if the industry is thinking that this is going to be it and that he's going to stick around in Florida, then that's another guy off the board. And again, I said it in the last video, it's almost silly to me that how much money that Marshan's going to get. But again, in a few years, the cap's going to be going up like crazy, and I just don't think the Leafs are going to be the same team in 3 to 4 years as they are now. So if you go out there and you have to sign Brad Marshan to a crazy deal, they might have to do it. And again, I can't believe I'm even saying that, but at this point, the Leafs keep getting knocked out in round 1 or 2. You need to make changes, and if Brad Marshan is a part of that, then they have to go out there and do it. Now, I want to bring up some trade targets, and that's something that I wanted to focus on in this video for sure. the Maple Leafs need to go out there and make a move. And it's looking more and more like free agency might not be where they fully go in and do their work, okay? The Leafs don't have a ton of draft capital. They don't have a ton of prospects. But if the Leafs were to go out there and take a big swing and try to bring in some players, I think Sportsnet brought up a few names that everybody would be talking about and some really interesting ones, to be honest with you. So there's some bold predictions here, and this was an article written by Sportsnet, and they brought up some names. Nazem Kadri, maybe he can come back. What about William Karlsson? What about Thomas Hertl? Okay, 2 Vegas Golden Knights and 1 Calgary Flames. So if the Flames are looking to be sellers and tank a little bit, maybe they think, okay, we can go out there in the open market and get a bunch for Nazem Kadri. Or if, let's say, Vegas goes and they get Mitch Marner, they sign him to a big contract, $14.5 million, and they got to clear out some cap room. Maybe they go out there and they try to get rid of William Karlsson or a Thomas Hertl. Now, let me tell you something. William Karlsson, to me, is the option I'm not the most excited about. But the fact that he's got 2 years left, he's 32 years old, he's a centerman, and he's coming off of a decent season, 29 points, not the greatest, but the year before, 30 goals and 30 assists. The reason why I'm a little bit worried is I think he's closer to a 15 to 20 goal guy than he is a 30 goal guy. And the reason why I say that is because I know that Nick Robertson isn't a center, but Nick Robertson scored like 16 goals last year. So if you're going to spend $6 million on William Karlsson and he gives you like 15, 16, or even 20 goals, you probably could get Nick Robertson for under $1.5 million and he would score as many goals, right? But you're not getting the center depth. You're not getting, I think Karlsson's a decent two-way guy. I would say so. So you're not getting all that. So that's where some of that money comes in. But I don't think Karlsson is a guy that the Leafs would want to spend their money on. I think a guy like Thomas Hertl would be a more interesting guy to pick up. Now, that cap hit $8.1 million, but he's only in year 4 of 8. So a guy that would fit into the window. And if you look at his numbers last year, 61 games played, 61 total points. He had 32 goals and 29 assists. So definitely a good scoring player. The guy puts up numbers. He's done it pretty much his entire career. He had, a little nice stint with Vegas the year before when he got traded there. And he was playing pretty decent with San Jose, and they're a pretty terrible team. So, this would be a guy that if the Leafs were to go out and make take a swing, and, I thought Zegras might be an option, even though he's not the best. But center, left wing, Hertl would be a guy that you could bring in and be like, okay, this is a 25 to 30 goal guy. No problem. Easy. We got a guy. This is a guy that can make this team better. He's an interesting option. But I think a guy that would be very interesting as well is Nazem Kadri. And again, I love Nazem Kadri. Year 4 of 7 of his deal. We all know he's feisty. He's matured a lot. He's a centerman. He's making $7 million a year. Again, I think it's worth it for the guy. Last year, 35 goals. The year before, 29. The guy hasn't slowed down scoring. 75 points, 67 points. With Colorado, he had 87 points. He's been fantastic everywhere he goes. He was good in Toronto, good in Calgary, good in Colorado. This would be a very interesting one. But I don't know if Calgary's willing to be a team that goes out there and tanks. I don't know if they're a team that wants to go out there and just basically give up, okay? So those are some really interesting options, and I want you guys to sound off in the comments. Let me know if you agree with me. My camera's about to die. That kind of sucks, but I'm glad that I'm at the end of the video. But, man, let me know what you guys think. Could they trade for any of these guys? I'm sweating. It is hot as hell. You guys know, if you're from Canada, it is hot as hell in Toronto and the surrounding area. I live about an hour away, and it is hot as hell. So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Join the squad. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sound off in the comments. Peace.